My name is Tuomas Kohila. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Props. I have a background in engineering and a couple of other startups. One could call me a serial entrepreneur, if you will. I have background in building, scaling, and selling companies in the past history. All in all, I think the main mission we are on is that we're trying to bring light into the very static world of rewarding and customer engagement. We wanted to come out with a product that allows people to be met as individuals with personal touch in the field where everybody is almost like cattle put in the same cage and then given whatever party wants to give them. So technology allowed us to start building a product that can be customized, personalized, and fun to use in this space. We're on a mission where we can challenge bigger programs. We can allow market to work openly and meet customers and ultimately benefiting not only consumers but also companies. So our mission is to enable that and scale in that field, and also ultimately pushing the market, which is the rewarding and the engagement market, so to speak, where it's data-driven. One would be surprised how little it is data-driven today. Vision is, of course, that we want to grow quite large. We don't see any reasons why not to. Technology-wise, we can quite easily function in the European scale, but basically we would like to be a dominant player at least in the Western world in this field that we aim to capture in the coming years. But the journey is very interesting in that sense. I always say we're working in the shadows. So if you're building a ship, you're using physical concrete pieces of metal and all that stuff, and you build a ship. But in this world, you're mostly dealing with beliefs. When we talk about marketing itself, it's about getting people to see things your way, providing stories that are compelling and capturing for our listeners. So the same way that our challenge is to writing our story such way that it compels and also engages not only consumers but companies. And it's not easy at all. But it's been very interesting. The learning curve has been very high. So we have learned a lot. I find it very intriguing market to be working with. As an engineer, that needs to be said. I usually split it into two different groups. Most of us consumers, we recognize the normal engagement, the loyalty programs, and I would call normal. It's something that has been released by a certain brand, like a retail brand or whatsoever, or airline or so forth. In that context, of course, our biggest differentiator is the fact that we're market wide. And that's pretty obvious to everybody. That advantage and the differentiator in that field is that as a consumer, you're no longer bound to having number of loyalty cards or number of apps, and you're in a field of this logistical nightmare. When it comes to the players who are kind of independent in that field, I think we have a couple of differentiators that I find very interesting and very compelling. Is the first one is that on the consumer side, or let's say that the kind of earning side, is that we're turning payment cards into loyalty cards or identification methods. So we're not bound to a single specific payment card or single specific loyalty card or something like that, where we can be a player that collects and rewards you from every purchase you make or every data point whatsoever. So not only we can reward you from you buying something from different places unrelated to each other, but we can reward you from steps or running or gym visits or whatever is measurable, we can reward for it. On the other hand, typical rewarding programs are very narrow when it comes to rewarding side. And that is also where we differentiate, because we are actually rewarding you from multiple different sources. So we increase them every week. So basically tens and tens known brands from McDonald's to Stadium to any kind of bigger retailer, we can reward you with their kind of points that you can use in those locations or those targets. And the third one, which is more ambiguous and untangible differentiator, is what I find most intriguing, is that we're building a platform which is mostly, I would say, gamifying, electrifying, making the whole loyalty scheme more of fun to use, more something that you like to do, something you find intriguing being part of, not so serious and not so buy from us and get points or buy this, buy that. It's something that you want to check every day, something almost like entertaining to be part of. That's why, for example, we are currently seeing more than 20% of our user base visit our service every day, which is a world-class number at the moment. Very, very few loyalty programs get that kind of number. So I think we're succeeding in that field quite well. But those are the areas where we feel that we're differentiating and kind of recreating the market at the moment. Well, first of all, most obvious is that we take it extremely seriously. And one of our philosophies is that currently in the world, this my data movement is getting more and more power behind it. And the idea is that consumer owns its data. And our philosophy is that we're almost like a my data operator, which means that we gather consumers' data. We are on the consumer side of the data. We do not give any data. We do not sell. Our business is not to sell any of the data to anybody who wants to buy it from us. It's owned by the consumer. And we handle it such way as it is consumers' data. Consumers are our primary customers, so we do not want to jeopardize that field at all. That's a philosophy that I always want to say first. Having said that, everything is encrypted, everything is world-class secure, everything is machine handled. So there's no human being going through an individual's data. We always separate the consumer identity and the data itself. All data is behind VPN walls, and all these technological details are in such level that we pass harshest tests, not only technologically, but also our internal processes, so that I do not, for example, have an access to any individual's data whatsoever. So there always has to be a certain level of reasoning and process when we go and look at individuals' data. It was a process because when we were originally working with the terminal or payment providers, we saw that there was kind of a limits within that field. Even though Scandinavia is kind of a simple market, there's a couple of players and they're dominated pretty strongly. You choose one and you almost capture 50% of market share. But in the field where we are working and the promise we wanted to give the market, it wasn't enough. It also, when you go international, the game is different. So, for example, in the United States, it's completely open game. That's no way you can go there with the one terminal provider. So we wanted to go to the banking, also open banking, also because it's a EU legislation who drives it forward. So it's a legislation, it opens the doors for that data. It's governed by that law. So when you're dealing with a single company like a card company, whether it could be MasterCard, Visa, or a payment service provider, we're actually on the mercy of that company. And open banking provided us a way of working with an open platform where we would cut off the risk of being bullied in the marketplace, so to speak. But then we evaluated about 5 different companies, and for a number of reasons, we chose to go this route. We felt that we made a right decision all in all, not only choosing a partner, but also choosing open banking instead of the card payment infrastructure. Well, I think the trust is number one. I think everybody would sign that argument as the number one. And the trust means that when we did our due diligence, we had the trust criteria was high, and the trust is built. Of course, the sales process gives you a certain idea what kind of company you're dealing with. And when you were pushing for harder questions, how quickly you get answers, who are you getting to deal with when you have issues, Enable Banking provided us all the critical checkboxes checked with Enable Banking, and that's why it was ultimately an easy choice for us. My entrepreneurial habit has been that I try as little as possible envision future, because it's wild guess and it will never happen as I envision. It will be either better or worse. But I see no limits for us to grow first through Scandinavia and then Europe and possibly in US as well. And obviously, if we can start scaling and nailing down certain partnerships and the ways to function, I can see that growth happening quite fast. I hope to see in 5 years Props as a recognized international market leader in this field. AI, open banking, all these things put together. Even I see it today in our product development that we're more troubled by the fact of making right choices of which tasks to work on, because there's so many things we could be working on. Those technologies or trends or developments are absolutely natural. They're part of this business. The question is when, and I can see the use cases already now, but we are working in a market, and most companies who are in this field work with two markets. So they're working with companies and consumers, and both sides need to be ready to evolve to use that technology. So we're in the process of teaching the market the capabilities of the market, and I think step by step we're getting there where these capabilities can be utilized on everyday business point of view, but also giving consumers more value for their customership, or more value to the product they're using, or more value from the brand they're dealing with. So I mean, I think it's natural that those are going to be the key parts of this business in the coming years. All in all, in this field for consumers, the advice is that there's always, especially with props, it's easy to find ways of capturing more value for your being a customer to certain business. That I hope that as a props we can more and more make it almost automatic, almost natural when you deal with a company, when you deal with a retailer, where you can capture more value, more rewarding customer relationship, more rewarding experience of shopping through apps like ours. There are other fields as well, and the digitalization is truly struck in this field, which is many companies don't see it yet. And so for customers, I would demand that kind of counteractive behavior from businesses. That I would expect that's something that becomes a new normal in the field of rewarding, and just keeping eyes open as a consumer. You can find many not only good deals, but rewarding that's highly intriguing and entertaining all around. Kind of an opening to put it in a perspective that today's loyalty programs in general are for fetching customer emails. So to me it's like a stone age where a company might go and say, hey, we have a loyalty program, join our loyalty program and hear from a great deals, everyday deals, and your focus is on bombarding customers with emails. We know how emails are. Some people are reluctant to read them and reluctant to get them. Some people don't care. Generic email marketing works, decently. But loyalty and customer retention is far more than sending emails. If you go and dig down the customer data deep in it, you're able to build loyalty programs that are far more powerful than email lists. Any company thinking about loyalty is that you have to step out of your own box and become a consumer. Understand what does it feel like to be part of your loyalty program, your retention program, and how would you design it such way that it's personal, it feels right, it's cost effective, it's fun to use, it's something you run into every day, and whenever you run into it, it feels like it's for you. And data is the heart of all that, and that's pretty much the only advice I would give them, that just take out the data, start hacking it down and understanding your customer really well, and then after that you're able to build smaller, bigger programs that are actually providing the kind of results you're looking for. I want to say huge thanks to Enable Banking with the partnership. High value for us comes from the fact that whenever we need you, you guys are there. And I would definitely, in the market, from our knowledge and our due diligence we did, and this is strategic partnership we have, is that I would give you 5 stars out of 5. And anybody looking for a banking partner in open banking, I would definitely suggest consider giving serious thoughts on Enable Banking compared to others, what we have learned. So thank you for working with us, and thank you for everyday attention we get. That's pretty much it.